This is Top 30. The FBI has rescued more than 80 children from human trafficking. 120 arrests were made and 84 children were recovered as part of the FBI's Operation Cross Country. More than 500 law enforcement agencies took part. Half the arrests took place in Georgia, others were arrested in Colorado, Texas, and Louisiana. The suspects were found at hotels, casinos, truck stops, and on the streets. Others were located online. The average age of the victims was just 15, and in a truly appalling detail, the youngest minor recovered was only 3 months old. She and her 5-year-old sister were sold by a family friend to an undercover agent in exchange for $600. Those rescued will receive assistance from state and federal services. The FBI director, Christopher Wray, said the number of traffickers arrested and the number of children recovered reinforces why we need to continue to do this important work. It is astonishing that there are people desperate and willing to sell a child for $600 and that child trafficking exists at all in the wealthiest country in the world.
These are your quick hits. The FDA has approved a second personalized cancer treatment called CAR-T. It's described as both grueling and expensive. Gilead Sciences will market the gene therapy for $373,000, but warns it can cause severe side effects. A Starbucks employee just leaked a photo of what could be this year's highly anticipated holiday cup. It's likely not the only cup Starbucks will debut this year. Last season, they had 13 red holiday cup designs. And Southwest Airlines just celebrated an unmanned flight. Wednesday's Boeing 737 MAX 8 flight from St. Louis was staffed by an all-female crew, including 2 female pilots. Great job, ladies.
Final bids are due this week for cities that want to be the location for Amazon's second headquarters. The new HQ is a virtual economic golden ticket, an expected 50,000 jobs that could infuse millions of dollars into city businesses and billions more in investments. But a professor of urban planning told USA Today there may be some major drawbacks. He says many of the jobs could end up going to people moving in from other cities, and that influx of people could increase housing prices and actually hurt current residents not part of the economic boom, and traffic congestion could become an even bigger issue. Despite some of the negatives, almost all experts say the overall economic gain far outweighs the negatives, which is why more than 100 cities on the West Coast, on the East Coast, and everywhere in between are fighting to win this bid.
The Major League Baseball playoffs are in full swing, and if the games feel longer, it's because they are. And it's a trend almost every major sports league is trying to reverse. ESPN analyzed the length of games over the past 3 seasons based on the regular season and playoffs. The average time for a 9-inning postseason game this year, heading into Tuesday, was 3 hours and 35 minutes. That's up 10 minutes from last year and 21 minutes in 2015. Same trend goes for regular season games that averaged 3 hours and 5 minutes this season. That's up 9 minutes over the last couple of years. The Players Union shut down the idea of a pitch clock, so no quick fix just yet. And it's not just baseball. The website Pro Football Reference found times for NFL regular season games increased every year, but one since 2008. The commissioner announced several changes to speed up the game, including reducing the number of commercials. And the NBA now has fewer and shorter timeouts to try and keep the game flowing. So across the board, games are still long, but like they say, acknowledging that there's a problem is half the battle.
Some states may soon require a passport for domestic airline travel in the United States. There are 22 states that currently have IDs that don't comply with Homeland Security's Real ID Act. As of January the 22nd, 2018, residents in the states you see here will no longer be able to board commercial flights with just their ID or driver's license, and unless the states change their IDs in time, residents will need to use their passport, permanent resident green card, or military ID to fly. The Real ID Act was developed to ensure safer travel within the US, especially following 9/11. But enforcing the regulations wasn't really pushed until 2013. All states must comply with the act by October 2020. And this could make things difficult for a lot of people because according to the State Department, 54% of Americans don't actually have a valid passport.
Two-time Olympic medalist McKayla Maroney claims Team USA's former doctor drugged and molested her. The 21-year-old made the allegations on Twitter early Wednesday morning, inspired by the thousands of women coming forward with their stories using the #MeToo hashtag. Maroney detailed years of alleged abuse by saying, "People should know that this is not just happening in Hollywood." She claims that Dr. Larry Nassar began inappropriate treatments on her when she was just 13, and it didn't end until she retired in 2016. She even alleges that while on a flight to Tokyo with the team when she was 15, he slipped her a sleeping pill and she woke up all alone in a hotel room with him where he was giving her a treatment. Maroney ends her statement by saying, "Our silence has given the wrong people power for too long, and it's time to take our power back." Dr. Nassar has already pleaded guilty to federal child pornography charges and is in jail while he awaits sentencing. In addition, he faces 22 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct and could be sentenced to life in prison.
Let's go to the New York Stock Exchange for our Fox Business Minute with your friend of mine, Nicole Pedalidis. Nicole, I'm hearing there's a big anniversary for the stock market.
That's right, Richard. Well, October 19th marks the 30th anniversary of Black Monday, the largest one-day percentage drop in U.S. stock market history. But in 2017, the Dow Jones Industrial Average enjoying all-time market highs. General Electric is teaming with Apple to bring its software to products such as the iPhone and the iPad. The devices will run GE's Predix, which is the industrial Internet of Things platform and controls things such as elevators, jet engines, oil refineries. And artificial intelligence teaches itself thousands of years of human knowledge from scratch. AI mastered the ancient Chinese strategy game Go without human input. Alphabet's DeepMind researchers created this amazing algorithm.
Nicole, what is the strategy for this game and how long did it take the AI to learn it?
Well, the game Go uses black and white stones on a board to control territory. And in just 3 days, AI mastered some complex tactics. And in 40 days, it became ultimately impossible to beat and even beat the best player in the whole world.
Thousands of documents pertaining to John F. Kennedy's assassination are due to be released later this month. The National Archives is legally obligated to make the secret government documents public by October the 26th, but several reports say it could be a logistical nightmare and there's worry it will incite chaos. There are 3,100 documents the public has never seen before, which includes papers from the CIA, the FBI, and the Justice Department, and an additional 30,000 files that have previously only been partially released. Conspiracy theorists are chomping at the bit, hoping new information will come to light. There are long-time theories that Lee Harvey Oswald was not the only gunman involved. The only person with the legal power to block the dump of the documents is President Donald Trump. Whether they are released or not released won't make a jot of difference to the fact that this process will just fuel lots more conspiracy theories.
In the wake of the Harvey Weinstein scandal, the hashtag #MeToo has swept social media. And a similar movement is happening in France with the hashtag Balance ton porc, or expose your pig. Time magazine reported France is taking it a step further, with their Secretary of State for Gender Equality, Marlene Schiappa, working on legislation that would criminalize street harassment. Commonly known in America as catcalling, the proposed legislation hopes to send a strong message that sexual harassment in any form will no longer be tolerated. A cross-party task force will work together with police to come up with a suitable definition and fine amount. The law will be voted on next year. Other countries like Portugal, Belgium, and New Zealand already enforce fines for catcalling. We'll see if America will catch on. More men than ever are becoming nurses. The surge of males in the profession is due largely in part to a higher demand for nurses in the U.S., in addition to there being more high school educated men. In 1960, roughly 2.2% of nurses were male, but as of 2015, that stat jumped by nearly 6 times to 13%. Economics professors Elizabeth Munich and Abigail Wozniak say nationwide healthcare and medical centers in places that previously lacked accessibility have also contributed to the nation's patients rise in male nurses. Munich noted, as broad perspectives on gender roles become more similar and more non-traditional roles become more accepted, more men have joined the nursing field. Well, it's a great job. Glad to see the fellas getting on board.
An 8.5-ton space station will soon come crashing to Earth, and the only problem is no one knows exactly where or when it will land. China launched its first space lab in 2011, but lost control of it about 5 years later. It's actually already started falling and has been picking up speed each day. China told the United Nations it expects it to re-enter Earth between October and April of next year. Most of the lab is expected to burn up as it enters the Earth's atmosphere, but a Harvard astrophysicist told The Guardian pieces weighing up to 220 pounds could make it through and crash somewhere on the Earth's surface. And he said even slight changes in the atmosphere could alter the landing spot from one continent to the next. So we don't even know to the nearest continent where it will land. Good luck out there.
In today's Hometown Stories from Fox 5 New York, Morgan Bland had a special request for her 7th birthday, donating a bulletproof vest for a local police dog. While the vests cost anywhere between $1,700 and $2,200, Morgan raised enough money for not one, but 2 vests. And there was enough left over for a canine supply kit as well. Morgan hopes to become a police officer when she grows up, and it looks like she'll already have a friend on the force. Our next story from Fox 13 Tampa Bay. Hillsborough County Sheriff's Deputy Marilyn Alvarez has been on the force for 20 years, spending 12 of those serving as the Hispanic liaison for the Sheriff's Office. It's here that she teaches new immigrants about law enforcement, building trust and respect among the community. Her dedication earned her this year's Hispanic Heritage Woman of the Year Award.
This is by no means the end. In fact, this is just encourages me and gives me even more energy to do more.
For our final story from Fox 26 Houston, 101-year-old Walter Piney is not only one of the oldest Astros fans, but also the longest, remembering when Houston first landed a professional baseball team. Though tickets no longer cost 25 cents, Walter has continued to cheer on his favorite team. In honor of his dedication, the Astros asked him to throw out the first pitch last Saturday. October 20th will be his 102nd birthday, and it's pretty obvious this year's wish will be a World Series championship. Some might call him a movie buff, and others a visual genius. But one thing's for sure, Phil Grisham can recreate a scene like no other, which he does on his Instagram account. Hi, Phil. So happy to talk to you. There are so many amazing pictures. I don't even know where to start. So I guess I'll just start by asking you, how did you come up with this project?
The whole idea came out when I was a kid. I grew up watching all those 1980s blockbuster movies, and I was just imagining how those scenes look like now, you know, from the Ghostbusters, Back to the Future. And I've never been to America, and then when I came first time ever to US, 7 years ago, and I saw that scene, that actual location, it's pretty interesting.
Now, this updated photo of the iconic shot from the end of The Graduate is awesome. Is that really you up there in the window, though? I'm dying to know, or is that special effects?
No, that's actually me. There's the lady who operates the whole church. I asked her nicely if there's a way I can get upstairs and actually bang on the window, and she said, "Yeah, fine, you can do it. Just bang quietly."
How do you find these locations?
Actually, the photographers who took those photos, some of them are still alive, and you can just email them and they will give you the address.
If you had to choose one, what is your favorite recreation?
The pawn shop from Pulp Fiction. It's amazing because that pawn shop looks exactly the same.
Thank you, Phil, so much for chatting with us here on Top 30. We appreciate your time.
A San Diego hospital is letting kids drive to the operating room to help them feel more relaxed about their procedure. Young patients at Rady's Children's Hospital get to choose between a Lamborghini, BMW, or Mercedes toy car for a ride down Teddy Bear Lane, the road that leads to the operating room. Doctors or nurses actually steer the remote control cars, and they say it always brings a smile to the young child's face during an anxious time. But it's not just for the kids. Doctors say the parents' stress levels can go down as well when they see a smile on their child's face.
A rare pink diamond may just be your newest best friend. This is the largest Fancy Intense pink diamond in the world. Fancy Intense designates pink diamonds that are quite strong in color. The 37.3 carat stone is named Raj Pink and will go up for auction next month. Experts say it could go for up to $30 million. Pink diamonds are extremely rare and make up only 0.02% of diamonds submitted to the Gemological Institute of America. While the Raj Pink may be stunning, it probably won't beat the record price for a Fancy Intense pink diamond. That's currently held by the 24.78 carat Graph Pink, which sold for more than $46 million in 2010. So if you or maybe your significant other has some extra cash, Christmas is coming up.
A new study published in the journal J Neurosci says long-term marijuana use affects the way the brain functions. According to Inverse.com, researchers at Brigham Young University's neuroscience department zeroed in on the area of the brain that controls serotonin and dopamine receptors. By injecting mice with THC once a day for a week, scientists were able to observe how those receptors changed over time. They noticed that a specific cell in this region of the brain, the GABA cell, which regulates dopamine levels, aka our brain's natural pleasure drug, loses its ability to do its job as the trial went on. It left the mice with a lingering feeling of reward, something scientists say can lead to addiction issues. So there really is an important lesson here for all of us. Don't give mice marijuana. One man has finally answered the question that has puzzled Americans for years. What do the names of IKEA products mean? Swedish IKEA fan Lars Petrus has compiled the names of over 1,300 IKEA products along with their definitions on a site he calls the IKEA Dictionary. The product names are mostly Swedish but fall into a few categories. There are strict rules for how products are named. Bookcases are named after boys' names like the Billy, or occupations like the Expedite, Swedish for shopkeeper. Outdoor furniture is named after Scandinavian islands. Bed sheets, comforters and pillowcases are all named after flowers and plants. The rules for naming date back to IKEA's beginnings. Its founder, Ingvar Kamprad, was dyslexic and had trouble with numeric product codes. The IKEA dictionary still has 130 products that need definitions. If you happen to speak Swedish better than a native, send them an email.
With natural disasters top of mind, it's a good idea to pull together an easy-to-carry emergency preparedness kit. According to Ready.gov, in addition to food and water, one of the most important additions to your kit is a flashlight, which is why we're presenting you with today's top 30 solution, Mobile Power's rechargeable 5-in-1 emergency tool at a special 38% discount. Mobile Power's rechargeable 5-in-1 emergency tool is the perfect all-in-one tool for any emergency. Floods, night vision, carjackings, you name it, and it's got you covered. The super bright flashlight features an emergency red flasher, a seatbelt cutter, a window hammer, a magnetic base to attach to the hood of your car, and not only that, it's got a rechargeable battery with a car adapter. Mobile Power rechargeable 5-in-1 emergency tool retails for as much as $50, but can be yours today for just $25. That's a 50% discount. And you can get this right now at morningsave.com while they last.
There are things you can do to get over your work anxiety and create a more positive, productive environment. According to Mike.com, to reignite the passion that you used to have for your job, change your perspective. Little annoyances can add up to real pains. Instead, focus on positives in negative situations. And if you're struggling to get through the day because you are bored, do something to give yourself purpose. Personalize your job by finding tasks that will force you to develop new skills. And finally, take care of yourself when you're not at work. Get enough sleep, eat healthy meals, and exercise daily so that you can function at max capacity.
The annual Neiman Marcus Christmas book is here, and shoppers everywhere are salivating at the extravagance. The shopping Bible will give you a ton of gift ideas, but what we really love are the fantasy gifts. Let's indulge, shall we? How about a new car for you and a friend? The Yours and Mine fantasy gift is a pair of Rolls-Royce limited edition Dawns. It'll only set you back $439,625 per car. And just imagine 300 of your closest friends in a private party on the rooftop of the exclusive exclusive Knickerbocker Hotel as you watch the ball drop. The price, $1,600,000. And after this one, emeralds will be your new best friend. A lavish trip to the largest producer of emeralds in the world, Gemfield's Kega Mine in Zambia, with master jeweler Stephen Webster. And you'll collaborate on turning your emerald into a one-of-a-kind piece. This experience could be yours for just $300,000. Okay, back to Earth for a moment. Shop the 2017 Neiman Marcus Christmas book at NeimanMarcus.com to buy or just to dream. Well, that's it for today's Top 30. Don't forget, you can get the Rechargeable 5-in-1 emergency tool for 50% off at morningsave.com. And on our next show, one app will find you a dog walker, but it's accused of losing pets. You can now visit space in Google Maps, and Kate Middleton is out and about. We'll have the latest on our Royal Watch. These stories and more are coming up on Top 30.